Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 31st tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we are going to talk about the size of operator in C. As you can see, I have saved a file using code blocks. I have given it the name sizeof.c. On line 1 in this file I have the header file that I will be needing for this program. On line 2 I have declared the main function. On lines 3 and 4 I have my curly braces, and between the braces I'm going to type in my code. And the program that we're going to make in this tutorial is going to be very simple. Firstly, size of operator is used to determine the size that's occupied by a variable in memory, right? So if I declare an integer and if I give it the name x, and if I want to know how much space is occupied by x in bytes in my memory, then I can use the size of operator, and it's very simple. I'll have to obviously use printf to display the result on screen, and between printf let me type size of, between the double quotes, that is for printf let me type in size of the variable is, and since the size is going to be a number, we'll have to use the %d format specifier to display it on screen. After the comma operator you'll have to type in size of, and you don't have to put in a space between the two words. That is, size of is a single word here, and as you can see, when I finish typing in size of, code block suggests me that if I want to use that, then I can just press in the enter key, and it would take that value, that is that word. And after that you have to put in a pair of parentheses, and within the parentheses you have to type in the name of the variable, the size of which you wish to know. So in this case, since I have just one variable and it's of integer type, it's called x, so between the parentheses I'll have to type in x. I put a semicolon to terminate the statement, save the file, and if I click on build and run, I see that a window pops up, and in the window I see that size of the variable is 4, right? So that's 4 bytes. Let me put in the word bytes here so that the output is a bit more informative, and I click on build and run again, and there you go, size of the variable is 4 bytes. Now you can find out the size of any kind of variable. If suppose you want to find out the size of a character variable, then that's also pretty simple. You just change the data type of your variable in the program. So on line 4 I changed the keyword int to char, and when I click on build and run now, I see that size of the variable is 1 byte, right? So a character occupies 1 byte of space in the memory, whereas an integer occupies 4 bytes of space. And if you want to know how much space is occupied by a float, that's also pretty simple. Just change char to float, you click on build and run, and you would see that size of the variable is 4 bytes. So a float variable also occupies 4 bytes of space in the memory. But what about double? And I don't think we have used double in any of the tutorials in this course thus far, but we will definitely be checking it out later on in this course. And double occupies 8 bytes, right? So it occupies twice the amount of space as is occupied by a float or an integer variable. And you also have short int, which is int, but it has half the range. So if I save the file, click on build and run, you would see that the size of the variable is 2 bytes. So short int occupies 2 bytes, integer occupies 4 bytes, a character variable occupies 1 byte of space in memory, and float occupies 4 bytes, and double occupies 8 bytes. So these are the results that we have obtained through the size of operator in this tutorial. And of course these values can differ. I have a 64-bit operating system. If you guys have a 16-bit operating system, then the compiler would probably be using smaller values, smaller spaces for your variables, so you might see different values. But if you've got a 64-bit operating system, and if you're using code blocks or any IDE for that matter, you should be seeing these values. So but don't be alarmed if you see different values. It's not something that you can control. It's something that the compiler decides, how much space has to be allocated to the different variables in the program. So it's just that sometimes you want to know how much space is actually being used by your program. So that's why you use size of operator, and it's a very simple operator to use. You just type in size of within parentheses the name of the variable. So you can play around, check out the size of the other data types that I haven't covered, and you can compare. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I'll see you guys in the next one, in which we'll discuss something interesting again. And please subscribe to my channel in case you haven't already, and see you soon.